it's Lizzie from Old Stables Crafts again, and I'm bringing another of the window shopping projects to you today. This is from the Spring Summer catalogue, and it's the stamp set with the matching thinlets, which if you buy them together as a bundle, you save 10%. So depending on whether you get the clear mount or the wood mount, depends on how much that would cost. In the clear mount, which is what I've got, it's £45, but you get so much in it, which is why I'm doing this sort of occasional series about what you can do with it. So I already posted on the 18th of January, I think, this little box and these two cards, which I made with the set. So these were using the, let me grab the thinlets. So the thinlets come with a number of little panels you can put in, and it's this little candle that I've used here, and I've just then put some glimmer paper behind the frames, the flames at the top. Very simple card, just punch the bits out, bit of glimmer paper, and yeah, pretty much a done deal. And then this was just using the banner flag die and the box die as one. And then during celebration, I made a similar box with the special glimmer paper. So I made this and this, if you remember. And those were using the little heart shape at the side. And then back in the dim and distant, on a baker's box, I used the holes with the bugs. And this was actually the project that I won the Global Design Project weekly challenge with. So already used them quite a lot, but today I'm going to make this card. So, or a variation of this card. So this was using rich raspberry as the basic colour. This time I'm going to use elegant eggplant. I have pre-cut some of the items, so I'm just going to go through what I have done already. It's really just to save time. So let's start with some basics. This is a piece of card cut in half. This is A5, so it's a piece of A4 cut in half, scored down the middle, so we end up with an A6 card base, which is the sort of standard size card base. Then I have taken some more of the elegant eggplant, and I've cut just using this bit, the top of the box, and we're going to trim that down a bit. And then on ordinary Whisper White, I have cut out this details piece, which I used with the precision base plate, and that then just fits. If I could line it up again, there we go. That just fits over there. Haven't lined it up, but you get the idea. There we go. That's better, a bit better. So then with the brush to get all the little pieces out, and as I say, I use that with the precision base plate. And then I've used this shape to cut a piece of the shimmery white cardstock, and I've cut that just slightly smaller. So I cut round the die and then just trimmed the edges off a bit so that it is very slightly smaller than the piece in the Whisper White, just so that there's not an obvious edge. So I hope that makes sense. All I've got to do now to this is just trim off. There are fold marks, score marks, so I'm just going to trim along the score lines so that I've got the right size to build everything up onto. And then let's get that off, thank you. So I love this set, and I have to say I do like the boxes just done with holes. You could put a little battery powered tea light inside, and that would just, oh, that would be so pretty. So there you are. You see, that's going to be just the right size to take that as with this one. So let's pop, don't need those bits, pop those to one side, don't need that for the moment. I'm just going to bring in a piece of scrap paper, and our colour palette. So for this I use Rich Raspberry, Bermuda Bay, no surprise there then, Peekaboo Peach and Melon Mambo, so two of my absolute favourite colours. So yeah, that was those colours. This time I am going to stick within the Regal range. So I've got Elegant Eggplant, Rose Red, Crushed Curry and Perfect Plum, and an aqua painter and a piece of kitchen towel. So I'm just going to make sure I've got some ink in the top of each of these ink pads. Hopefully, oops, helps if you open them the right way round. So let's start with the Elegant Eggplant and go from there. I seem to have a bit of an explosion on my desk at the moment, which is never good. Right, so I want a reasonable amount of colour. So, yeah. And all I'm doing is a wash and then clean that off. The aqua painter is brilliant for this because you can just clean it off on a little towel and then it's good to go. So I'm going to use the Rose Red next. And again, make sure I don't want too much water on the brush. And the joy with the shimmering white is that you can do some watercolouring. You could use watercolour paper instead, but it doesn't really need it. It is just a quick colour wash. So then a bit more of that. I think I probably need to re-ink my crushed curry. In fact, I think I definitely need to re-ink my crushed curry. And there we go. And then finally some Perfect Plum. And these are potentially quite lurid colours together, particularly when you water them down. They tend to be slightly more neon. I did do a project with, I think it was the Rose Red, where it split into its sort of almost basic constituent parts, and it went an amazing colour. It was wonderful. Right, so that needs to dry. So whilst that is drying a little bit, I'm going to drop it on the floor, only because I have underfloor heating in my study, and that might help dry it out. Although, having just felt the floor, it doesn't seem that the underfloor heating is on. So anyway, I'll put it on the floor anyway, because it won't hurt. Oh, of course, the one thing I didn't bring out was something to do the stamping on. But fortunately, those of you who know me know that I have. Here's one I prepared earlier. So there we are, and we're actually going to probably need one for the inside as well. Well, no probably at all. We will need one because you're not going to be able to write on the Elegant Eggplant otherwise. Right, so this will go here. So we've got our positioning for where that's going to be. And then using the same stamp set, I'm going to make this a birthday card. And so I'm going to pull out the Happy Birthday. And a block, and it fits quite nicely on the D block. And then let's see, which one shall I use? I'm going to use Rose Red, I think, just so that it's got a bit more colour. And then just gentle tapping. Don't need to overdo it. And then knowing that we've got sufficient space, I'm just going to go into the middle. Just leave it there for a short while just to make sure that the ink has gone into the card. And there we are. And that will dry down a little. It'll end up a bit pinker than it actually is. Pop that to one side to clean in a moment. Right. Okay, let's grab some Tombow and put this all together. So just a little bit of Tombow. Tombow is definitely one of those less is more glues. It does give you enough drying time to give you some wiggle room. So it does mean you can move it round to make sure that you are happy with its positioning. But you don't actually need a huge amount. So that's that. Then just making sure that I'm making the same thing. I will actually stick this down now. I'll probably regret this in a minute, but you know, gives me something to do whilst the other bit's drying. And again, I've used Tombow so that I've got a bit of wiggle room. There we are. And I'm just going to grab the watercolour piece, which actually isn't too bad. I think I might just give it a quick blast with a heat tool, just to make sure. It is quite neon, but no, none the worse for that. Because it's peeking through, I do want it to be brighter rather than too subtle. So I'm just doing this under my desk so that I don't deafen you with the sound. And I'm using it on the first setting of the heat tool. The heat tool is brilliant because it's got two settings, one for embossing powder. If I had a brain, I'd be dangerous. There we go. And one for drying. So the drying one is just perfect for, let's think, drying. So there we go. It doesn't matter that I've missed that bit because this is going to go over the top. So I'm going to stick that down actually with fast fuse, just so that I know that it's covered in cat hair, just so that I know that it's definitely flat, because having been damp, it will have a tendency to want to run away. So the Tombow would probably be fine, but the fast fuse I know is A, fast, and B, will fuse. So, actually I want it the other way up. I don't know why I want it the other way up. No, I don't. I want it that way up. Hey-ho. So the only thing, of course, with the fast fuse is that you get pretty much one go at getting it down. Now, this will be a little fiddly. I'm wondering whether actually I could use mini glue dots. Probably could, just for speed, because we don't actually need all of it to be stuck down. And even with the one I made in the luxury of time, I didn't actually put glue all on the back, or across all of the back. So I'm just going to use mini glue dots just for a bit of speed. But you could use the Tombow and just pop it along the edges and then a little bit in the middle as well. But for the sake of speed, I shall use my mini glue dots because I can. See, there I am saying this is going to be faster, and I actually wonder that it might have been quicker to have used glue. But there we go. Hey-ho! So, because I know that this is just very fractionally bigger than the piece I'm sticking it onto, I can just line it up, and there we go. So there we are. Quick. Oh, and this obviously will go on the inside, and you could stamp a sentiment in there as well. So there we are. That's 2 cards, again made with the the window shopping bundle. And I hope you enjoyed those. These were ones here were some I made earlier. So I do honestly think this is really quite a versatile set. I think you just need to think a little more outside the box with it. I will come back with some more projects, but this is today's. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. It's my face over there, any minute now, probably. The link to the associated blog post with all the measurements will be below. There's also a link to my online store. I don't always do videos to go with my blog posts, so if you want to see all my blog posts, There's an email subscribe button at the top of my blog, certainly on the main blog rather than the mobile version. So hit that, fill in your email address, and then you can get a notification of every time I post. And that has YouTube videos embedded in it as well. So you can do that. And you can also subscribe. And then you'll definitely not miss anything. So if you want any of the supplies, I really do encourage you to get the bundle. I think it's a brilliant set, and as I say, I think it's great for lots of occasions. It's got a happy birthday, it's got thinking of you. It's just wonderful. Oh, and I've just remembered another card that I've already done with it. So yeah, have a look. There's a link to my online store below and also on the associated blog post. So I will see you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.